It's the 20th anniversary of Ozma's second album, The Double Donkey Disc. In honor of this momentous occasion, the band has agreed to do an interview with questions submitted by the fans. The first one being, can you tell us a bit about the development of Double Donkey Disc? Will the two have separate EPs that you realize you like together? When was the decision made to stick them together?
I don't remember that it was an actual plan that made sense ever. It's not like it was, I think it was a way to justify putting two groups of songs together that were not otherwise something that would constitute a normal record. Right, yeah. Daniel?
Sounds about right.
To answer the question, they were recorded at the same time, right? And they...
Yeah, about the development, what's kind of interesting, I remembered that, Rock and Roll Part 3 was done to ADAT with Bruce Whitkin, but then Double Donkey Disc was, I think, our first Pro Tools recording experience.
Sure.
What was also interesting is that, we can kind of pinpoint January 1st, 2000 as the release for Rock and Roll Part 3, but then I think Double Donkey Disc was a more, we just kind of rushed it out to have it for the Weezer tour, right?
Yeah, I think since we had all the steam and then we had Double Donkey Disc kind of ready to go, we kind of just shoved it out the door.
Yeah, and some of the fans have brought up Game Over, Eponine being held over till Spending Time on the Borderline, but those could have maybe wound up on one of the first two records.
Why call it Double Donkey Disc? And what were alternate names for it?
I kind of was into the donkey thing for whatever reason in high school.
You did cars, right?
I had a donkey on my original Strat Plus, and then I don't know how it ended up being in a full Ozma thing.
An album cover. Yeah, it's probably my fault.
How did you come up with the album cover art? Where did the donkey come from?
I guess the impetus was to try and make something memorable, which it is in a strange, ridiculous kind of way.
Right. And I think I remember the spelling, if that was part of the question or if people are wondering. I think Ryan said, why isn't double spelled with two B's?
Yeah, well, knowing me at any time spelling or whatever, or not questioning common facts about life in general, the spelling of... I have the Balalicas here.
Cool.
I don't know if that's exciting for people.
Can you show us one?
Yeah. Yeah, see, this is the one.
Right.
And,
cool.
I should take the stupid background thing off.
No, where'd you get the balalaika?
eBay. I think that my dad was an early eBay user, and I think I got both of those for Christmas, but that doesn't make sense. When did we record the Donkey Disc? Was it in January or February, or when was it? When did we finish it?
I don't even remember. I can't picture when we did that.
Yeah, I remember Rock and Roll Part 3 was September 99, but...
Yeah. September 99.
Hard to say on the, sometime in the winter,
It's not
2000 or early 2001, right? We might have finished up after Christmas.
So I know that we finished it. The Weezer tour was in February, right? Or March 2001?
February.
February.
2000, February, March 2001. I still never remember.
But that means that we finished, that we had to still have had printing done, right? Printed it.
What inspired you guys to go for the Russian themes present in Double Donkey Disc? It's easily one of my favorite albums, and part of that is definitely because of the unique subjects relating to parts of Russia's history and folk music.
Thank you, El Stinko. Didn't we like to speak in a Russian? You know what it really? What I really think it was the rentals. The rentals.
Or the Friends of P videos.
Yeah, it was. They were all dressed as if they were in Soviet Russia, Cold War
Right.
Eastern Bloc country, and I think that captured our imagination, quite frankly. And then the donkey kind of just fused with that. There's no real reason.
I mean, I remember you guys carpooling to school and listening.
We listened to Shostakovich all the time. Daniel and I, Daniel was learning those pieces on piano, the preludes.
Shostakovich playing his own prelude.
Yeah, Shostakovich plays Shostakovich. It's very good on vinyl too. I have it on vinyl. I found that I had it on vinyl.
There's 2 books of 24 preludes. One is 24 preludes and fugues, but it's the shorter. I want to say maybe Opus 13. I forget, but they're the shorter, the easier ones.
Yeah, there are even a couple that are accompanied female vocalists that are very beautiful.
So yeah, that's a cool record. And Tchaikovsky, some great Russian composers out there, Prokofiev.
Yeah, but I don't think we care. I don't think that we cared about them at all at that point. I think it was either the French composers or the Shostakovich.
How did you guys find your sound? Especially when you first started. How did you come up with the sounds of each of the instruments?
It evolved from Nirvana to Smashing Pumpkins, and then it happened to land on Weezer, and it all had the common denominator, which was a distorted guitar, in abundance of distortion, more than necessary, over the top. Yeah.
You were pretty into Metallica too, right?
Yeah, pretty into Metallica, but oddly enough, I think that the Rentals' first record, I thought that's the guitar sound I want. But really, there's almost no guitar in it. It's all bass, and the guitar is really minimal, but it's
crunchy. Yeah.
Crunchy.
I also remember getting to work with Rod on the Lorraine in Los Angeles was kind of interesting. That was before Rock and Roll Part 3, but that's a really well engineered recording. Not to speak nothing of the performance or whatever, but just thinking about the sounds of the I remember him putting me on like a Yamaha bass, and I probably only had the shitty Squire at the time or something. But that was first experiences like in a real nice studio and working with somebody we really respected.
I think that's the first time we did overdubs properly, and I think he also let me play a Flying V guitar.
Yeah.
For the lead, so that was like a real Gibson, real sustain.
How did you come up with the sounds of each of the instruments? Big muffs. There were a lot of big muffs.
The big muff, and I think that's when big muff, and we learned about humbuckers. I think then, like Jose put when did you first put the little 59er?
Pretty early on. I don't even know why I did that. I think I read a good blurb on Musician's Friend about the pickup. Like high output, high gain. Like cool, that's what I want, I guess.
Then I put one in because it was it kept our guitars from feeding back in the small places. So squealing sound.
What was the hardest part about recording Double Donkey Disc? What are each of the band members' favorite songs to play live?
It was the smell of the incense of the room. The gross studio smell.
I don't remember a smell personally other than nonstop American Spirits.
But the first album we could smoke in the studio. The second album there were no smoking allowed. Yeah.
I think Bruce was trying to quit.
Probably smart.
It was because of the new computer system.
Oh, right.
Right. Pro Tools.
Because Pro Tools made us quit smoking in the studio.
I remember trying to get that one section in Booty Master that had all the samples.
Oh yeah, that was hard. I think there's like a slowed down donkey, like that we had a donkey squeal, and then we like stretched it out for like a whole minute. made it into the repress, right?
Yeah, luckily we were able to retract that creative decision.
Is that on the Kung Fu remaster?
think so. I
That?
think so.
Wow,
Right.
interesting.
I mean, the recording that clean channel guitar solo in Alternate Dimension was cool.
That wasn't hard. That was just two different solos, and then Bruce, the producer, said, "I think that they would fit together," and they did, and they just kind of perfectly.
Right, call and response.
Yeah, call and response.
Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce was he was a mentor, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of hipped us. He said, "You guys sound kind of like Squeeze, right?"
Mm-hmm.
At one point.
He said something about the length of the songs too. I remember him saying, "You guys write only epic songs."
Only epic songs.
I think every song was more than 4 minutes long or 5 minutes long.
I remember your dad saying that too. Like, why are all the intros 2 minutes long? I don't know. But yeah, that Squeeze record's cool. He was like the two vocalists, sometimes singing in octave unison. Argy bargy.
Argy. Yeah.
But yeah, I also remember Pat brought in the marching sample. From like Civilization game for the or something. So hope they don't come after us.
Another challenging thing was actually getting used to the computer, the fact that you could see where things were wrong.
Right.
And that was the first time that we could actually see, like, the drum is off here, and then the problems really started with trying to fix things. But I don't think we fixed that much, but
right.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. Like the first time we had a visual representation of the music in front of us.
Yeah, and so the hard part was to take your eyes off the screen and actually just listen to the music.
Yeah, we were certainly tripping on for a minute, like in the Spending Time on the Borderline album cover wound up being that same,
Because we thought it was so cool. Yeah.
You could see the music.
Yeah.
I can see the music.
Each of the band members' favorite songs to play live. Asks Brian.
I think definitely, the story Into the Landing is my favorite.
Yeah.
And also Continental is fun. Really fun.
That's pretty fun. I still like playing Tetris.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Like early on, I remember we were when it comes to the sound, I think the Alternate Dimension was one of the first songs where we actually put the
Casio 55.
The Casio 55 with the lead guitar, and we were so we really loved that right away. I think we kind of knew that was a special sound.
That was the Tron sound, or the Russian Cold Fusion sound.
Yeah.
Is combining those tones.
And that's where the guitar has to match the sustain of those notes. So if the keyboard can play forever, and then smoothing out the guitar with the keyboard was matching the sustain. Yeah.
Had a Blue Boss sustain for a while, right?
Ibanez Sound Tank compressor pedal and an Ibanez Sound Tank power lead. Power lead. Yeah. And just it says power lead, and you go, that's exactly what you want. Power.
Well, isn't that the name of 55 also on the keyboard?
Yeah.
I think that's the
power
100 tone
power lead.
Is called power lead. Yeah. Jose, your favorite song to play live?
I don't know. I've always liked Restart.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You mean on any album or just?
On the Donkey Disc, Jose.
Oh, Donkey Disc song. Yeah, it's always been "You Know the Story." It's a fun song too.
Into the Landing. They go together. Yeah.
Math rock.
There's a little bit of, because we never nail it perfectly every single time, so there's always that little bit of anxiety of, is this going to be right?
But the question's not specific, so what about outside Donkey Disc? What are your favorite tunes to play?
I think I like songs that I start.
I think
so like Stars, I like because I started.
like the song spending time is fun to play at the beginning because it's
Spending time when it's tight is pretty in there.
Mm-hmm. I remember John Davis from Superdrag playing the riff sometimes before they would play. I'd be like, what's happening?
That's awesome.
Why is he doing this?
Are there any unreleased Ozma tracks that have any hope of seeing the light of day sometime soon?
there's a lot of unused stuff, I think, in general. But
I think for Pasadena, we did a lot of demoing with Billy. Like, what is that song?
Not for Pasadena. For Pasadena.
Yeah, like Uptown Funk. What's that song called?
I think just called Uptown. There's a song that Daniel, what is that one called?
Kid Icarus.
Kid Icarus we played on the Rentals tour 2006 or 7.
There's some bootlegs of it. Nobody knows what it's called.
I think that's a really good song, except that the lyrics at the end never really made sense.
Yeah, we got to fix the end if it wants to see the light of day.
Will there be a Spotify release of songs of inaudible trucks and cars?
You don't really want your earliest stuff in the public, easily accessible in the public.
Yeah, I think just kind of Iceland and Lorraine and LA are the only sort of well-recorded tunes on it.
You could do a edited version for Spotify.
I personally wouldn't want to release the whole thing. You know, it doesn't seem like a full length to me. By the same token, you want, people to hear it if they want to. So that's why it's on the Bandcamp.
Were there ever any genres, topics, or styles you wanted to explore in Ozma's music that you didn't end up doing?
I feel like we've barely explored any. So,
wasn't there a time where you wanted to do nobility, noble?
It's already pretty, Baroque, contrapuntal. But yes, there was a harebrained scheme for aristocracy versus nobility.
Yeah, aristocracy versus nobility.
That would have been fun. Reggae, there was that one reggae jam that came up in the last jam session down at the school.
Well, we were kind of going. We were kind of pretending that what if we were just a band that played in a bar?
Yeah.
More blues based, more like the new Paul McCartney record.
Oh, I listened to that yesterday.
Yeah, well, his stuff is always sounding amazing.
What specific event or thing that happened being an Ozma has affected you the most as a person?
I guess it's not specific, but the fact that there's people that kind of liked what we did, and that takes a lot of pressure off. Like something that you do that you feel like contributed something to other people's lives, and then you kind of it takes the pressure off the rest of your life. You're kind of like, well, I kind of already did something that someone likes, so I'll do whatever else I want. No, doesn't matter. So that's kind of good. But specific stuff, I don't know. What do you think?
Traveling, I guess that's cool.
Yeah, traveling. Yeah.
Places is cool. Making friends, seeing different types of people and cultures and everything. Going overseas, going to Japan, going up to Canada. That's all cool.
Well, also playing with your idols or whatever. Playing with your especially like Not a Surf and Weezer too. So.
How often do you guys look back at your earlier work and think how differently you would have played them? How has quarantine treated you guys?
How often? I don't know. Twice a month.
I kind of say zero. I don't listen to anything. I don't listen to the music that we made unless we're in the same van together listening to it.
We did think about like maybe re-recording Rock and Roll Part 3 at one point or something. Just like what would it sound like since we played those songs live so many times? What would it sound like on a click or, you know, at faster tempos or?
Yeah, I'd say in general, what we learned is that people don't necessarily like your music more when it's on a click. I mean, when it's quantized. Pasadena is quantized, and then the store, the Boomtown is on the click, but it's not quantized. And Donkey Disc is not quantized, that I remember. I don't think, but it's on a click.
How has quarantine treated you guys?
I think pretty good.
I've been sleeping more.
Got a dog.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What's the name?
His name is actually Bruce.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
cool. It's such a human name for a dog.
I know. We could have changed it, but we didn't want to change. He's a rescue, so he's 3, and it's what he knows. So.
I see.
It's been a hot minute since Boomtown. Probably been asked, but is there a new project in the works? And if so, can we expect more info in the coming year?
Wobba, 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 wobbus.
Hobbit. No comment.
I mean, I'm down.
That's usually the answer. Sure. Whenever. Yeah, let's do it.
I know the world is much different now, but will we ever see Ozma outside of LA and or Weezer cruises again?
We wanted to do East Coast tour, like Boston, New York City.
I think that's feasible. I mean,
Still do some spots.
Yeah, maybe in a year or a couple of years.
Hey Ozma, trans rights?
They're good, right? Trans rights are good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not sure what to say about
Black
it.
trans lives matter. That's all you got to say.
What was your favorite fan interaction?
I think I like when fans bring us cookies and food. It's always my favorite. Baked goods.
Very safe.
For a good fan interaction.
I always like it when fans get creative and make art or whatever. Like
They used to give me beanies and stuff to wear, or they'd knit them.
Cool.
Yeah.
or like
I didn't really particularly like that because I'm very picky about
no more beef.
headgear. Yeah, I don't. But it was cool.
I think it's cool when fans do creative stuff. Like there's a couple people on Instagram that are doing electric tape on their basses and guitars and stuff, which is cool.
If you were stranded on an island with a record player and 2 records, what would they be?
If you're on an island, there's a certain type of music that you'd want to listen to, right? You wouldn't. And there's certain things you wouldn't want to listen to. And you only have 2, so you don't want to get sick of it. So probably not. Maybe just instrumental music of some kind, like new age music. Something by Cusco and something by Ray Lynch. Maybe Deep Breakfast by Ray Lynch. Maybe.
This is a cool record. Yeah, Pauline Oliveras, Deep Listening.
Yeah, something off the Wyndham Hill record label.
Yeah, Terry Riley, Rainbow and Curved Air.
Yeah, maybe that would drive me crazy though after a while.
Let's see. As far as rock records, I listened to the Metric Old World Underground record again yesterday. Still holds up. That one's great. One of my favorites. Yeah, the Debussy String Quartet, the Emerson Quartet recording of the Debussy and Ravel string quartets. Also, yeah, Ivo Pogorelic playing Scarlatti. He's my favorite on that.
You really love Scarlatti. You
Yeah.
love Scarlatti.
What about you, Jose?
I think it would be something I've done. So either one of my solo records and an Ozma record,
Ooh,
just because it's like,
Boomtown.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't take Boomtown to the because all the your own music, it's in your brain, right? So you don't need a record. So you could, I think, like Goldberg variations would be a good one. I'm more partial to like the English or French suites.
Do you have any advice for aspiring musicians?
Practice, practice. Basically, do what we did and have throw out all of the music in your library that isn't Weezer. Just throw it away. Because, like, clearly we don't listen to any other music but Weezer still.
It's true.
No, basically you have to be very open-minded and closed-minded at the same time. To protective of your own vision to almost a fault, but also like selective osmosis. You take in what it feeds that and reject everything else. So if you're don't try to follow all the different trends as they're happening, because then you'll never catch up. You have to make the trends. You don't want to be a slave. Don't be a slave to the trends. Right?
Yeah,
Just Weezer.
I would say just, get out there and do it. Play live a lot, play in front of audiences, just, write the songs, get on stage. That's, I think, kind of what we did in the beginning, was just play over and over and over wherever we could for anybody. And that helped.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah, play as much as you can and be uncomfortable a lot in front. You have to be in front of people a lot. They're going to look at you, and they're going to look at you. And they're going to laugh at you. Some of them are going to clap at you.
Well, that's all the questions.
That's it. All right.
Thanks for everyone who submitted questions. Anything else from you guys?
Well, have a good year next year.
Happy New Year. Stay safe. Wear a mask. Keep it tight. Keep it clean. All right. See you guys.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Thank you so much to the band for agreeing to this interview with the community. And here's the 20 more years of Double Donkey Disc.